Hey guys, this is Rachel with the Rachel Way 123, and today we'll be at part 3 of our series, Stop Living Paycheck to Paycheck. If you are here at part 3, that means you've already probably watched part 1 and 2. If you haven't, now's a good chance to pause this video and go ahead and gain some knowledge from part 1 and part 2. So if you have watched our previous series, in part 1, you've already realized that we need to figure out the scope of the issue of why we live paycheck to paycheck. In part 2, we talked about setting up a budget to help us to not live paycheck to paycheck. And now in part 3, we're going to talk about how we can spend less on essentials. Yeah, I paused because I know you guys think I'm crazy. How can we possibly spend less on essentials? Rachel, what are you talking about? Well, guess what? Today we're going to go ahead and be creative. We're going to brainstorm and we're going to think about some ideas that we can work on so we can spend less on our essentials. We're going to start with food. Food is crazy. We love eating. Eating is good. Eating is great. But we need to learn how to cut our expenses and still be able to eat healthily. And only saying that if eating healthily is your goal. If it's not, then hey, have at it. But my goal is to be able to eat healthily because I feel like this influences the life around us, the decisions that we make, how much energy we have, the things that we do. So that's the reason why I say that. But you need to look around. There's organizations that's probably in your community that distribute food that would have been thrown away for a very small price. Research suggests that in Tucson, Arizona, you can get 70 pounds of vegetables for only $12 every single month via a program called Produce on Wheels. And it's so cool because they don't even have an income requirement and anybody can participate. Now, of course, that's in Arizona. I'm actually in the state of Florida, so you'd have to check around and see what's available to you in your county. Another thing you can do is to plan your meals in advance. Guys, I know sometimes this can be a little bit tedious, but there is an app that I love with all my heart called Pinterest. Get on Pinterest. They have so many ideas for meal plans, man. It's crazy. Messing around with Pinterest, you can never not have a meal plan. They're going to have healthy options on there for you as well that you can, just maybe combinations that you never even thought of. Couponing is another way. I have a lot of lessons on couponing on my website. If you're interested in that, go check it out. If couponing isn't your thing, still take a look at your newspapers and your circulars for those little coupons where you can save $10 off of $50 or $5 off of $40 or whatever the case it is. Money is money. That's $5 back in your budget, $5 back in your savings or wherever that you need to put it. All right, so make sure that you're looking at that. Another wasteful thing that people do is making too much food. And guess what? That costs more money and it doesn't even make you healthier. So you buy all this food, you cook all of it, but you waste half of it. And this is another reason why I say meal prep and meal planning is probably really important to this process. All right. The next thing I want to look at and pine into is our utilities, all right? So I know it depends on where you live, what you do, what you don't do, what you can do to cut the bill. Once again, I'm in the state of Florida and I use Duke Energy. And they have so many different programs that you can either join. You can even just call into the line. They have something called budget billing, where you can get the same bill every month with no surprises if that's something that works for you. They have kits that you can use to try to make your home more energy efficient. Guys, there is help out there. Utilize what you can find. Start researching. Get your head in some internet websites. Ask friends. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your home is also insulated, that you don't have any gaps in your house letting air out. Look at your utility bill. How many of you sit down and actually look at it? Make sure they're calculating everything right. You know what I'm saying? Instead of using a dishwasher, wash the dishes. Maybe set times to wash clothes instead of washing every day. Make sure you have more clothes and less loads versus doing a whole bunch of small loads because you're using more energy. All right. Now, another cool tip, set your temperature a couple degrees off from perfect. All right. So instead of 72 in the summer, set it at 74. Instead of 70 in the winter, set it at 68. Now, you may not even really recognize the change, but this will help with the efficiency of lightening your load as it pertains to your utility bill. So there's so many factors and variations to look at. And we may look at our bills all the time and say, man, this could never change. How could we possibly look at it? Call the company, see what programs they have, see what options they have. You might even be missing out on something that you've qualified for. So do that. All right. Here's another great topic that I want to hit, and that's clothing. Okay. There's so much different things you can do to alleviate expenses with clothing. And the first thing that I'm going to recommend is minimalism. All right. This is not for everybody. All right. But I'd say at minimum 5 different pairs of jeans, maybe 10 or 15 different shirts, 3 or 4 casual dresses, maybe 1 or 2, a couple pairs of shoes in different colors of different occasions. You really don't need much. I'll be honest with you. You really don't need much. It's up to you. It's up to your personality and, what your job or occupation is. But I just say, really think about minimalism. For me personally, I work from home now, so I stopped shopping for clothes. Because for what? I only go out to go grocery shopping, and 9 times out of 10, when I do go out to grocery shop, I'm not going to see the same person. And if I did, I could care less because I'm sure that my clothes are washed and clean, so it doesn't even matter. Another thing you can do is buy high quality clothes. This is why it's important to pay attention to sales, because you can get high quality clothes for a lower price. But the reason why I suggest high quality is because they probably will last forever, or at least last longer. When you buy lesser quality clothes, you're constantly having to replace. All right. Also, another thing you can do is, believe it or not, once again, this goes back to minimalism. Avoid too many colors. Stick with the simple, like I said, once again, if this doesn't interfere with your job or your lifestyle or where you work, just keep it simple. Get a couple colors that look good with your skin tone, that no matter what you wear it with, you're going to look good. It's going to look presentable. You're going to look modest. You're going to look decent. Go for it. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this right now. You only need a couple dresses. This is for women. For men, only a couple suits. Because honestly, how often do we go to certain events? So you need just maybe 2 little black dresses for our women, for our dudes, 1 or 2 different pairs of jeans and, your nice pair of shoes that can go with it. And this is not advice for everybody, but I just think that the less you can spend on material things is the more that you'll have in your pocket. Okay. Another thing I'll suggest, if you ain't willing to give up none of your clothes and you need all the clothes you can get and you just, no ma'am, I need all my clothes, I need all my colors, I need all my shoes. Well, head on over to the thrift store. They have so many different deals and things for you. If you have children, man, Once Upon a Child is the place. They have some great, barely gently used clothing, shoes for your children at a very, very low, affordable cost. Also, another website that I like to use a lot is the Children's Place for my kids. They give out so many coupons. They always have sales, 40% off, 60% off, guys. There is so much deals out there. It's up to you if you really want to find them. But if you're really trying to get out of your cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, you have to start putting the work in. Another thing you can do, find sales. I am a sale baby, okay? I'm all about financial literacy. I'm a sale baby. I look for all the sales. Matter of fact, I don't shop until there is a sale. That's the only time I shop, when the store's having a sale. Look, Bath and Body Works, I go there in June, I go there in December. Semi-annual sale, end of year sale. You hear me? That's the only time I shop for those type of items. Old Navy, when they're having a sale. Forever 21, Fashion Nova, Shein, and this is just me as a woman expressing where I go. Once again, this doesn't have to be your choices. This doesn't have to be where you want to go, but I'm just telling you how I'm able to find my sales and make it work for men. I know sometimes it's a little bit harder, but look, Nike be having sales, all these other places. You just have to look. If you're not willing to look, you're not willing to find. And if you're not willing to find, you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck. All right. So be willing to do the research. Be willing to put the work in to find what you need to find and get the deals that you need to get. Another thing I want to talk about is medication. I know that finding good deals on medication is hard. All right. Because when you got a medication and you need it and it's costly, then it's hard. I'm not even going to act like I don't know people in that position, because I do. When a medication is expensive and it's something that you need to sustain your life, you kind of can't go without it. Here's my suggestion. Contact the manufacturer of that medication. They give out discounts, all right? Try the generic. Sometimes the generic is way cheaper. Way cheaper. And don't assume that just because you got insurance that the price is the cheapest, because you can actually ask how much it is without insurance first. I'm not sure if you guys knew that, but if you did or didn't, there you go. All right. Another thing you can do, call around to check prices. There's not just one pharmacy. There's Walmart, there's CVS, there's Walgreens. If you're out of state, you got Rite Aid and you have all your other places. Call around. Don't be afraid. Never be afraid to get better deals for yourself. All right. Another thing you can use is a software called Script Hero, and they can help you to find the cheapest deal possible. There's a couple apps in the App Store too. All right. They still have these little prescription discount cards like circulating at doctor's offices and sometimes even at the pharmacy. Just feel free to pick one up, apply it to your order, and see what you can get for yourself. Walmart, Publix, they have pretty decent programs. I think Publix offers free antibiotics. Walmart has a generic drug plan where you can get certain generics for like dirt cheap. So always look around. This part of the process causes you to have to do research. If you're not willing to do research, that means you're willing to keep living paycheck to paycheck. And there's no part of you even continuing this series. I wanted to give you this information to help you. So you have to be willing to put the work in. All right. So another thing I want to talk about is managing your debt. One budget killer, if there wasn't any, it is debt. Specifically credit card debt. If you don't manage your debt, you can living paycheck to paycheck, even if you did have a good income. All right. I know this is hard to accept, but it's so easy to get into debt if you're not paying attention. Bills come, we toss them to the side, and we don't even look at it, and before you know it, you $10,000 in debt and you don't even know why. Pay attention. You know what I'm saying? If you got yourself in big amount of trouble, go ahead, get that app, get on Credit Karma. Go ahead and get the free credit financial report. Get on there. Find out what you owe. Call these bureaus, write them letters. See what kind of settlements you can make. It's possible. Your life can be changed. You can get out of this cycle. It is definitely possible. Another option I'm going to recommend and not recommend at the same time, and I'll explain to you why, is bankruptcy. Bankruptcy has problems of its own, but it can be the best way to start over for some people. It can help to improve your credit faster than some other programs. It completely wipes out your credit. And I know you can't file for at least 10 years, but it just gives you another chance to start over. It's not the end. It's starting over. It's just that it's a little bit of a longer process. That's all. So that's why I say I recommend and don't recommend, because it's all up to your jurisdiction and it's about what you're trying to do and what your financial goals are. The last thing I want to wrap this session up with is earn more. Even if you're making enough for what you have, earn more. Why not? We're in a situation right now where a lot of people have lost their jobs because of this whole situation with COVID-19 and being quarantined, etc. Make more money. Because if more money was made prior to this without knowing this situation would have happened, maybe a lot of people would be a little bit relieved because they would have a month or two of savings, of course in conjunction with stimulus check and other income or other forms of income and assistance that is also coming in at this point in time. But just make more money. I know, like, it's hard to just say that, but start small. Start doing surveys online. Find something that you can freelance and do. Look up hobbies. There's so many articles circulating on the internet of things you can do without a penny. Little things you can do and start and just making your little money every day. But I would just suggest that if you can earn more or make more, go for it. Don't just stop at the minimum just because that's all you can do and that's the best you can do. If you can do more, do it. It's going to help you in the long run. All right, guys, so this was part 3. This is just some tips on how to save on our essentials, because this will help us to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Tune in for part 4 soon. Again, this is Rachel with the Rachel Way 123, and I am out of here.